Continuing our study in Tractate Yoma, the tractate that talks all about Yom Kippur. We find ourselves in Yoma, page 4b, top of the page, with the words Vayechaseu ha'anan lahar v'yikra el Moshe. Moshe v'chol Yisrael omdin lo ba kasav el lechalo kavod leMoshe. Rabbi Nassan Omer lo ba hakatuv ela lemarek achila ushtia shememeav lesumo k'malchei sharis. And that which is written, and the clouds covered him, means the cloud covered it. The mountain and not him, Moses, and he called to Moses. Moses and all the Jewish people were standing at the foot of the mountain and listening. And if God did not mean that Moses was to climb the mountain, why did he call him? The verse comes only to accord deference to Moses, as the entire nation heard God address him. Rabbi Natan says Moses was in fact called to enter the cloud. However, his entrance was not for the purpose of sequestering and purifying him. Rather, the verse comes only to cleanse the food and drink that was in his intestines, to render him like the ministering angels who require neither food nor drink. Rabbi Matya ben Chadash Omer, Lo bo hakatuv ela le'ayim alav kadei shitehei Torah nitnenes be'emo birtas uzio shnemar yivdos Hashem b'yira v'gilu berado. Mai v'gilu berada? Amar v'ada varmasna amra b'mkom gila sham tehei rada. Rabbi Masna ben Chadash says, the verse calling Moses into the clouds comes only to intimidate Moses, to instill in him a sense of awe of the Creator, so that the Torah would be delivered with reverence, with quaking, and with trembling. As it is stated, serve the Lord with awe and rejoice with trembling. Psalms 2:11. Apropos to the end of the verse, the Gemara asks, what is the meaning of and rejoice with trembling? Joy and trembling seem contradictory. Rav Adabar Matana said, Rav said, where there is the joy of fulfilling a mitzvah, there will be the trembling of the awe of heaven there. B'may kamiflegi, Rav Yossi Haglili Rabbi Akiva. So, with what do Rabbi Yossi Haglili and Rabbi Akiva disagree? How do they disagree? Beplukta dahai tanai. Apropos to the interpretation of the verse with regard to Revelation, the Gemara asks, with what regard do Rabbi Yossi Haglili and Rabbi Akiva disagree? Beplukta dahai tanai Tanya b'shisha chachodesh nitna Torah l'Yisrael. Rabbi Yossi Omer b'shiva bo man de'amar b'shisha nitna u'b'shiva ala tichsi v'yikra Moshe b'yom shvi'i man de'amar b'shiva nitna b'shiva ala tichsiv v'yikra el Moshe b'yom shvi'i. It was taught in a Braita. It seems that they're already parallel to a dispute of another time that was taught in Braita on the 6th day of the month of Sivan. The Torah, the 10 Commandments, was given to the Jewish people. Rabbi Yossi says it was on the 7th day of the month. According to the one who said that it was on the 6th, the Torah was given on the 6th, which is the day of revelation of the 10 Commandments, and on the 7th day of the month, Moses ascended the mountain, as it is written, and he called to Moses on the 7th day. According to the one who said the Torah was given on the 7th of the month, it was given on the 7th, and Moses ascended on the 7th, as it is written, and he called to Moses on the 7th day. Rabbi Yossi Haglili savar le ketana kama to amar b'shisha b'chodesh nitna Torah hilkov zeh haya ma'aseh achar aseret hadibros vayishkon kavod Hashem al haSinai vaychaseu ha'anan sheishis yamim leMoshe vayikra el Moshe b'yom hashvi'i lekabole sha'ar Torah di'i sol kadai tech vayishkon kavod Hashem mirosh chodesh yachzeu al nahar ויקרא למשה ביום שביעי לקבל עשרת הדיברות הקיבלו להו מששישה והסתלק לענן משישה. The Gemara proceeds to link the two disputes. Rabbi Yossi Gluli holds in accordance with the opinion of the first Tana in the Braita, who said that it was on the 6th of the month that the Torah was given. Therefore, this incident occurred after the revelation of the Ten Commandments. That is why he explains the verse, and the glory of the Lord abode on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered him for 6 days, to mean that the cloud covered Moses, and he called to Moses on the 7th day to receive the rest of the Torah. As should it enter your mind to interpret the verse as follows: and the glory of the Lord abode from the new moon of Sivan, and the cloud covered it, the mountain, and he called to Moses on the 7th day to receive only the 10 commandments. They didn't already receive the 10 commandments on the 6th of the month, and didn't they already receive the 10 commandments on the 6th of the month, and the cloud that was on the mountain already departed on the 6th of the month? Rabbi Akiva Sofer la Rabbi Yossi, the Amar B'Shiva B'Chodesh, the Natoy LeYisrael, B'Shlam Rabbi Akiva Hainu Mishkachas Le B'Shiva Asar B'Tamuz, Nishbara Haluchos, Esrin, Arbad, the Sivan, the Shitzar, the Tammuz, Malu Lahu Arba'in Yomin, the Hava Bahar, Ubashiv Sar, the Tammuz, Niches, Asat, Vatavirinu Laluchas. And Rabbi Akiva holds in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, who said that on the 7th of the month, the Torah was given to the Jewish people. That is why Moses was summoned on the 7th of the month, immediately after the revelation of the Ten Commandments. The Gemara asks, granted, according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, the Torah was given on the 7th of the month, and Moses then proceeded to climb the mountain and remain there for 40 days. That explains the calculation that you find on the 17th of Tammuz, the tablets were shattered according to the standard tradition. How so? Calculate 24 days until the end of Sivan, and 16 days of Tammuz, and they total 40 days on the mountain. On the 17th day he descended from the mountain and came and shattered the tablets. Okay. El Rabbi Yossi Aglili Damar Shisha Deprisha Ve'arbayin B'Dehar Ad Esrin Etlas B'Tamuz Lo Itabor Luchos Amr L'Char Yossi Aglili Arbayin D'Habya Hadadi Shisha Deprisha. However, according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, who said there were 6 days of sequestering after the Torah was given, and an additional 40 days that Moses was on the mountain, the tablets were not shattered until the 23rd of Tammuz, contrary to the standard tradition. Rabbi Yossi Aglili could have said to you, the 40 days that Moses was on the mountain include the 6 days of sequestering. Mar Yikral Moshe v'Kol Yisrael did Misaya leRabbi Lazar. Dam Rabbi Lazar Yikral Moshe v'Kol Yisrael did lo ba'katuv ela lechalok lo kavod leMoshe. The Master said in that Braita cited above, that when the Torah says, and he called to Moses, it means that Moses and all the Jewish people were standing and listening. The Gemara suggests that this supports the opinion of Rabbi Elazar, as Rabbi Elazar said that when the Torah says, and he called to Moses, it means that Moses and all the Jewish people were standing and listening, and the verse comes only to accord deference to Moses. From Rabbi Elazar's statement, it is clear that all of Israel heard the voice of God. Meisvei, Kol Lo, Kol Elav, Moshe Shema, V'Chol Yisrael Lo Shamu, Lo Kashya, Haba Sinai, Haba Alvad, Iba Yisrael Lo Kashya, Haba Kriya, Haba Dibur. The Gemara raises an objection. The Torah states, and when Moses went into the tent of meeting that he might speak with him, then he heard the voice speaking unto him from above the ark cover that was above the ark of the testimony, from between the two cherubs, and he spoke to him. Numbers 7:89. The Torah could have said he heard the voice speaking to him. However, instead the verse said he heard the voice speaking unto him, indicating that the voice reached him alone. reached him alone. Moses alone heard God's voice, and all the Jewish people did not hear it. The Gemara answers, this is not difficult. This case, where everyone heard God's voice, was at Sinai. That case, where Moses alone heard God's voice, was at the tent of meeting. Or, if you wish, say, instead, an alternative resolution, this is not difficult, when God addressed Moses by calling to him, everyone heard. That which God subsequently communicated by speaking, Moses alone heard. Okay. Alright. Rav Zrika Rami Karev Kamed Rav Elazar Yamir Le Amar Rav Zrika Rabbi Elazar Rami Ksiv Lo Yachal Moshe Lavo El Moed Ki Shachan Alav B'Ha'anan Uketiv Vayomer Moshe B'toch Ha'anan B'Lama Shetafas Kadosh Baruch Hu LeMoshe V'Havio B'Anan. Rav Zrika raised the contradiction between verses before Rabbi Elazar, and some say that Rabbi Zrika said that Rabbi Elazar raised the contradiction. It is written in one place, and Moses was not able to enter into the tent of meeting because the cloud dwelt on it. Exodus 40:35. As Moses was unable to enter the cloud. And it is written elsewhere, and Moses came into the cloud. Exodus 24:18. This teaches that the Holy One, blessed be He, grabbed Moses and brought him into the cloud, since he could not enter on his own. Divrei Rabbi Ishmael Tana. Nemar kan betoch, v'nemar halan betoch. V'yavo b'nei Yisrael betoch hayam, al halan shvil. Dichtiv hamayim lahem choma. Afkan shvil. School of Rabbi Ishmael taught there is a verbal analogy that resolves this contradiction. It's stated here, and Moses came into the cloud, and it is stated below in another verse, and the children of Israel went into the sea on dry land, Exodus 14:22. Just as below there was a path within the sea, as it is written, and the water was a wall for them, Exodus 14:22. Here too there was a path through the cloud, but Moses did not actually enter the cloud. ויקרא אל משה וידבר למה הקדים קריאה לדיבור ואם לתואר דרך ארץ שלא יאמר אדם דבר לחברו אלא אם כן קוראו מסייע לרב חנינו דאמר רב חנינו לא יאמר אדם דבר לחברו אלא אם כן קורא לאמור אמר רבי מוסיה בר ברי דרב מסיה משמי דרב מוסיה רבה מניין לאומר דבר לחבר שהוא בבל יאמר עד שיאמר לו לך אמור שנאמר וידבר השם אליו או אמור לאמור. The verse says, and he called unto Moses, and the Lord spoke unto him from within the tent of meeting, saying, Leviticus 1:1. Why does the verse mention calling before speaking? And God did not speak to him at the outset. The Torah's teaching etiquette. A person should not say anything to another unless he calls him first. This supports the opinion of Rabbi Hanina. As Rabbi Hanina said, a person should not say anything to another unless he calls him first. With regard to the term, concluding the verse saying, Rabbi Musia, grandson of Rabbi Masya, said in the name of Rabbi Musia the Great, From where is it derived with regard to one who tells another some matter that is incumbent upon the latter not to say it to others until the former explicitly says to him, go and tell others? As it is stated, and the Lord spoke to him from within the tent of meeting, saying, Lemor is a contraction of lo emor, meaning do not say. One must be given permission before transmitting information. Okay. Michlal, the Tarvayos Firlu, Miluim, Kol HaKatuv Behen Makev Behen. Di'itmar Miluim, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Chanina, Chadamar, Kol HaKatuv Behen Makev Behen. Chadamar, Davar Makev B'doyres, Me'akev Behen, She'ein Me'akev B'doyres, Ein Me'akev Behen. After digressing to interpret the verses with regard to Mount Sinai, the Gemara resumes its discussion of the statement of Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish based on the question Reish Lakish addressed Rabbi Yochanan and the fact that Rabbi Yochanan accepted the premise of that question. We learn by inference that both maintain that with regard to the inauguration, failure to perform all the details that are written in it this regard, invalidates the inauguration as it is stated. Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina disagree. One said failure to perform all the details that are written in this regard invalidates the inauguration, and one said a matter that invalidates offerings throughout the generations invalidates the inauguration. A matter that does not invalidate offerings throughout the generations does not invalidate the inauguration. Testayem Rabbi Yochanan hu yamar kol hakatuv b'hem makeh b'hem midiko amale Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Rabbi Yochanan imam Elohim kol hakatuv b'hem makeh b'hem v'lo ko me'adolei v'lo me'idi testayem. Conclude that Rabbi Yochanan is the one who said failure to perform all the details that are written in its regard invalidates the inauguration. This may be concluded from the fact that Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish says from Yochanan, just as with regard to the inauguration, failure to perform all the details that are written in its regard invalidates the inauguration, so too is the halacha with regard to Yom Kippur. And Rabbi Yochanan did not respond and did not say anything indicating that he agreed. The Gemara states, conclude that this is indeed the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. The Gemara asks, what is the practical halachic difference between the opinions of Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina?